Yeah.
And I pay money and you don't really do nothing. I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm still in pain, so.
Where'd you go on Wednesday and what'd they do?
I went to a place just in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And she did something with a short head. And then she was like, come back next week. I'm like, I'm not paying you again next week.
Yeah.
My back hurts.
Yeah.
So.
We gotta do something. Yeah.
Yes.
And you found us on YouTube?
I've been watching for a couple of years.
Okay.
At least a year for sure. I think during the virus, I was watching a lot of you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool, man. And here we are.
Yeah.
All right. So that means you have a good idea of what I do.
Yeah. That's why I called you.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, man. The first thing is, why don't you tell me how the back hurts, like where it hurts, and under the circumstances. Kind of just describe it as if you got to make me understand, right? Like,
okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
First of all, I'm 40.
Got it.
I know that ain't old, but it's old.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up sometimes and my back is gone. Right now I can move around, but sometimes it's completely gone. Like it hurts to move. Last night I had to soak in salt, just so I can move around the house. It's a sharp pain like right here, and when it locks up, It's like really bad. I gotta lay on something hard and just like put my legs up because it really hurts.
Okay.
That's the bulk of it. And then my shoulder hurts, and then my knee hurts a little bit.
Okay. So one of the things that we'll see, we'll go through a thorough exam. We'll pretty much get to the bottom of why this is happening. The big thing is understanding why this is happening. Everything that you're describing to me sounds almost like you have like a chronic or like an old disc injury that maybe one day kind of just something moved the wrong way.
I'm a nerd, like my birth. I'm a musician, so the only physical thing I ever did in my life for real is I ran track, but marching band. Like I'm a nerd. I don't do all that. So I don't know why I have a back injury.
What instrument did you play in the marching band?
In the marching band I played the saxophone.
Oh wow.
There's like a saxophone, flute, and piano.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, I have a story about the piano. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, even though we're almost the same age. Got me by a year.
I got you by a see.
Yeah.
So when I say I'm 40, you understand.
Yeah.
Shit just stopped working.
I do understand. And when I was in my 20s, I really wanted to play the piano. And I started taking lessons. And I was sitting there, and for me, sitting prolonged periods of time is horrible for my back. It always has been. It's always been an issue. I always got to move around. I can't get comfortable. And so eventually I made the decision. It was either the piano or exercise, like all the time, like figuring out a way to like combat the back pain. So that's why I gave up the piano. Now the reason I guess it was going there is if you spend a lot of time sitting, or if you're playing an instrument and you favor like a side, or you have something leaning on the shoulder that may be compressing a side. Yeah.
That's a younger me, but I did this all the time. I went to college and did all that, and I'm a grown ass man now. I can't do that. But back in the day, this is it right here. Play the flute like this, playing it like this. I always lean this way, so yeah.
Okay. And that just even putting you in that position or seeing you in that position cues me in on to a lot of things. Now, if you've seen a lot of my videos, maybe you're familiar when I talk about like one side having compression and the other side having stretch. And that's really like the key. That's also why X-ray is so key, because right now, just off everything you're telling me, I'm almost picturing that you've probably lost a little bit of, and a lot of, the lordosis of the lumbar spine. So I have a feeling, and even watching you when you're walking around a little bit, and you can see you're having some trouble getting from sitting to standing, you can tell your back's bothering you. I think this is not optimal on you. I think you might even have a situation where it's quite straight through the lumbar spine, and that sacrum might be kicked back real bad. What I'm also seeing is probably a chronic pattern of you, I'll get my finger caught in there, a chronic pattern of you that might be actually something like this, where you have a good bit of compression and a good bit of stretch on this left side. So I'm kind of picturing that pelvis might be tilted up a little like this. Again, we'll only know when we look at an x-ray, but for sure through my exam and my palpation, we'll start to see what feels better, what feels worse, and how best to start to correct this. Every time we do like a forward bend, Now don't get me wrong, we're excluding like a compression trauma, or we're excluding like literally like, maybe you fell down on your rear end, but if you did, the same idea, the same principle applies. This opens up, this opens up. So what happens is, as the disc begins to flex and open, the disc fibers here, called the annular fibers, they stretch. If this goes past anatomical integrity, even a little bit, and everybody's different in terms of what their particular range of motion would be in the joint, When it goes past that integrity, these fibers tear. They hit these nerves called sinovertebral nerves. Doesn't matter the name, but those nerves pick up big time inflammation and like a warning signal in the back when it starts to irritate the nerves in the spinal column back here, spinal cord really. So that's how it gets hurt. So what happens is when those tears set in and create that massive amount of inflammation, the joint wants to lock down. When the joint wants to lock down so that therefore it won't go past that anatomical integrity, you create this over time if it doesn't get corrected. So what's my job? Find out which joint is stuck in what position, crack it, send the signal to the brain that its pressure has been released, and begin to allow proper range of motion and healing. And that's what we're going to do. A little bit of